Steve Slaton, this is the point in the show where we talk about our sponsor, the Book Exchange. And I'm going to tell you one word you're not going to hear out of my mouth today. Any guesses? Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I'm not talking about Christmas. Day after Halloween, Christmas ads are running. Stations are flipping over to Christmas music. It's crap. But if you did want to buy your presents early, you might want to go to the Book Exchange or Book Exchange online and use what code, Steve Slaton?
Burning Couch for damn near 25% off, which is damn near free.
It is 25% off, and it is damn near free. So I'm not saying do your Christmas shopping yet. You know, especially with basketball season coming up, you can get all your basketball gear there. We're winning, looking good for a bowl game. You know, they'll have bowl game shirts. I mean, those would make good Christmas presents if I wanted to talk about Christmas, which we're not talking about Christmas yet, are we?
Not at all. We still got Thanksgiving first.
Yeah, thank you. Let's eat the turkey, then buy the presents. Go to the Book Exchange, 25% off. Use the code Burning Couch. And we are back on the Burning Couch podcast with I'm going to say the star of the In the Gun podcast. He's Owen Schmitt, a friend of the show for many, many years. Former play, of course, played with Steve Slaton at WVU. Owen, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Great to hear your voice, man. Great to see your beautiful face too, man.
Oh man, it's always great to see you, Steve. That's for sure. And I guess it's all good to see you too, Matty.
Hey, Steve got a haircut. I forgot to mention this at the top of the show. Steve has been rocking the fro for a good 2 years, maybe. But look at him.
Yeah,
he looks young, doesn't he?
Yeah, he gained years there. Steve, what'd you do with your hair?
I had time to chop it off, man. My son, he's playing basketball now, so be at the high school a lot. So got to look presentable now.
But what did you do with the hair? I think he's asking.
What did I do with the hair? I threw it in trash.
Threw it in trash. Sold that on TikTok, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, I figured.
And there's a girl on TikTok. She cuts her nails and sells them.
Pillow. I don't know how comfortable that would have been.
I'm telling you, we could have sold those to Mountaineer fans. I could have put them in little baggies. I'm telling you, just think about it. Think about the show. Think about our income next time, Steve Slaton.
Next time, we'll say it's a couch starter.
Yeah,
Owen, we have
could have sold them as that.
I did. Oh my God, it would have been perfect. All right, I have to grow my hair out. Owen, you know, we've been trusting in the client, and we've been saying, hey, listen, this guy, if you fire him, you're going to lose all these kids. And this is the year those kids have come up. What can you say about what you've seen this season from this team and this coach so far?
You know, they obviously believe in themselves. They're playing hard. You know, we've had some stumbles. You know, I want to say, obviously the Houston game was a rough loss for the team. That's tough to battle.
We don't acknowledge that game. That game never happened. We don't talk about it.
I know we don't want to acknowledge it, but it did happen, and unfortunately, it never should have been that close. But it was. You know, I see a lot. You know, and we're starting to kind of see the team kind of come out of its shell. We've had some injuries on defense, so obviously they struggled. Those kind of, you know, those people like learning, kind of getting back in the swing of things. You had some young guys starting. And it seems like we've simplified the defense. And offense is starting to churn. We're starting to make some explosive plays downfield. The pass game has really come on in the last couple games. And obviously our run game, the last two games, UCF and this past one, man, we put up some big numbers. Over 100 for both Jaheim and CJ last game. So, you know, they're really starting to churn at the right time. And to have a game like they did against BYU last week, hopefully to get the job done this week, get a good practice in, you know, get rolling, because you got a big game down in Oklahoma. And they're looking a little sus. You know what I mean? They're looking a little sus right now. But I know everybody says it's tough to beat Oklahoma off of loss. But hey, like Neil said, you know, we're just playing guys. We're we're not scared of anyone to play in this league. You know, West Virginia is just as much of a name as Oklahoma. I'm not going to say we have the history, but we're not going to back down from anybody.
No, that's definitely not in our DNA. But I think, like you said, these past 2 weeks, UCF and against BYU, our running game, our identity was coming in, and I think even with the passing game, spreading the ball around too, not just focus on one guy. But I think it's definitely big to finally get an identity with the run game because it's only going to open up the passing lanes.
Absolutely, and we've had so many kind of injuries this year, on our offensive line. You got guys stepping up, playing really well right now. And Steve, like you said, our identity is the run game. That is who we are. And, now we're starting to complement down the field. We got a great tight end to throw in the mix. And Garrett Green, I mean, he's an electric player, man. He is a lot of fun to watch, and he is getting things done right now. He is a very special guy.
I think
he's definitely a special guy. Well, my fault, Matty. But yeah, no, it's been fun to watch him. I think see him grow in this offense and really just take over the reins to where he is the number one guy. But with Nico coming in, he looked good. He was 4 for 4. So I mean, I think those guys. But Garrett Green is definitely our starter.
Of course, I'm always thinking about next season, and it's exciting. It's a young team, and it seems like a lot of these guys are going to stick around, and that'll be great. As opposed to past years, I think a lot of guys, and I don't know if you've noticed it, I think maybe some people are getting disenchanted with the portal because it's not all they hoped and dreamed when they get to the other team that they think that they're going to go play for, right?
Absolutely. I think with the portal, like, it seems like such a, the grass is always greener on the other sides, whatever you want to say. It's just not, and people don't understand, you got to be a very special player, in my opinion, to just go somewhere and get on the field and get those reps in and be able to, make it happen the next year. And we've gotten some of those guys in the portal, kind of some slow starts from some of them, but I think the ones that we did see how special we can be. And hopefully they make the right moves in the off season to be able to retain those cats and just build off of that.
I mean, Beanie Bishop.
Say with
there you go.
Beanie Bishop.
Like, that's a kid that came in and got him a couple games in, and he's a Mountaineer now.
Yep, definitely. But
absolutely,
I'll say with Owen about the grass isn't always green on the other side. He's seen I can't remember who Alabama played, but Nick Saban said to one of the guys that transferred, like, hey, if you'd have stayed here, you would have got more playing time. You'd have played more. So it's one of those things to where I think guys got to understand that the dream that you're being sold, unless you're a quarterback, I think it's a totally different situation. But, coach is going to tell you anything to get you there. And they probably said the same thing to somebody else. So as long as you're not afraid of competition, I think that's, that's the name of the game. And even like, I don't want to say guys into the transferring portal are scared, but you're running away from a situation that you didn't stay to compete.
And to be fair, let's just say this. They've also had it hanging over their head. Is this coach going to be here next year? For the last 2 seasons, it's been, I don't know if this guy's going to be here next year. And I think if we're, it's at the end of the season, they're like, he's staying, which there's no doubt he's not staying. These guys are already, jacked up. They're playing for him. They're playing for each other, having fun. I haven't seen a team have fun on the field for WVU in a long time. I'm not going to say probably, going back to you guys, and I'm sure there was some in between, but this team does remind me a lot of when you guys first started to gel, and like as a fan, we're like, oh, this is special. These guys are going to be good. Oh, can't wait till next season.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be at the game last week, and then watching the game copy, and we did a recap the other night on the show, and it was like, it was a pleasure seeing the guys have fun and, get after it and get excited, because that's what it's really all about, right? It's about, you're putting all that hard work in, you go out on Saturday, you get the result you want tenfold. And those guys were allowed to have fun. They were jumping around, high fiving, chest bump. And that's what you want to see. And that's fun to go watch. Right. It's fun to go watch, and that only builds the the momentum and the electricity.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say I'll piggyback on that electricity because it gives you a spark to see somebody make a play because it makes you want to make a play. Or even saying being a receiver making a big block is, hey, you know that you affected that play. And the game copy, like I said, going into practice, having your meetings and seeing it to where, hey, you made this play happen. It's a beautiful thing, and it should be infectious to the next week, to even into practice, to where, hey, I'm gonna be the guy that springs a big play, and that's what we're gonna have all game.
And let me just say, as a fan, my wife walks in and we're up, 27 points, and she's like, "Well, can you turn the game off? Can we go do something?" And I'm like, "Honey, I never get tired of watching us win. Ever. I'll never turn off the game when we're up because I like to watch us. We haven't done it in so long where we just kept going and beating them and beating them and beating them, and like, really just, even when the second string came in, still beating them and beating them and beating them and playing hard. It's so much fun to watch." So question for you two, coming off a win like this, is that helpful or hurtful going into a play in Oklahoma? Is it, are you too confident, or is it good confidence? I mean, what do y'all think about that going? Because they know they're going on the road to Oklahoma, who's just lost 2 games, who's they got to win.
I would say, look, confidence is everything when you're playing the game of football. And yes, I think you can have too much at times. I mean, I loved our theme always while we were playing, stay humble, stay hungry. I don't think this team has that really in them. The 14th thing has been their motto all year long. And I think that's something that's great they've stuck with. They are the underdog, going into this game regardless. So I don't think there's too much hype around them. But listen, they needed these last 2 games to get their self-confidence back. And going into Oklahoma this week, it's going to be an electric crowd. It's going to be a sellout. They're going to give you your best shot. Historically, the last couple years, we've played Oklahoma pretty well. And right now, in my opinion, we're firing on all cylinders. And there's still room for improvement. If you really, buckle down on the games, there's things in the secondary as far as just turnover margin, right? Like some of these interceptions we should have had a little bit of the drop skis in the secondary. I would say the same on the other side of the ball, right? Some pivotal plays. Maybe missed a pass just here and there. So there's things we can work on. But right now, going into Oklahoma, I'm completely satisfied with the effort I've seen the last 2 weeks, and I can't wait to see the energy they bring into Oklahoma this weekend.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, Matty and Owen. These past 2 games are needed because for these past 2 weeks, we had less problems to fix, to nitpick in the meeting room. So with that being said, hey, these small problems you have, you can focus on those more instead of the bigger picture of, oh, well, you're not running the ball, we're not catching the ball. So there's things with defense and offense, we can critique them and put a little bit more energy into that for this week. But like I said, Owen said, we had Oklahoma play them very well. That's been a great matchup for us, and I think the confidence of just these two young guys, 2 running backs, I think that's going to be very pivotal. I think they're going to have a really good game. I think they're going to keep rolling out throughout the season.
And I didn't realize this, but our secondaries, the top 10 or 15 in interceptions, and think about how many we've dropped this season.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a game we probably had 6 or 7 interceptions that we just dropped. So I think there's a lot of potential for us to get some turnovers against Oklahoma, and if we can do it early, that crowd's going to get scared quick because they're already. We've been there, as fans and as players, we're like, oh my gosh, this is it. The bottom's dropping out. We just lost 2. Now we're down to West Virginia.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not a game you circle as an easy win. This is going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, we have something to prove wholeheartedly this season. I don't see us backing down. I see Oklahoma legit getting West Virginia's best shot this weekend. And, like Steve was saying, the run game right now it's climbing, right? It's climbing. And Jed and I were talking on the podcast, it'd be nice to see maybe a 400-yard game rushing. And I think that's very plausible by these guys. Absolutely.
When you guys watch runners at home, do you ever stiff arm and run? As a fan, I have what my wife calls there's a little strip of carpet where I pace, and you can see it's basketball, football. I pace. But when you're watching, do you ever just want to jump in there too?
No, I try to see what they see. I don't focus on moving, but it's just like, hey, there's things you can learn to where setting up your blocks, time management, whether go out of bounds, whether not go out of bounds. I'm actually reached out to Jaheim on Twitter. He replied back. I told him, "You got any questions? Like I'll give you some game," because he's looking like, especially as a freshman. He's from Pennsylvania too, so I'm gonna keep my eye on him. Him and CJ. I think that's just gonna be just a great competition, just a 1-2 punch of, hey, you ran for 50. Okay, let me get a 60. So I think that's going to be a great friendly competition to where you feed off each other, because you want the ball, and I think we have enough ball to pass around with them two guys touching it.
Oh yeah, and I mean he's a freshman. I mean he's a young cat. He's got so much talent, and then you got it is a true thunder and lightning combo with those two guys. I guess sometimes with CJ, when he does make a good run, or if he lowers the boom on somebody, I get, I'm like, let's go, baby, let's go. You know what I mean? Get a little fired up. And same thing. What I really truly love about watching them this year so much too is they run the zone scheme, which obviously Steve and I are very familiar with. And it's been nice to see. It's just fun watching something that it's second nature to you. And, that's awesome, Steve. You reached out to him because, I mean, the wealth of knowledge in that mind of yours can easily be passed on to a young buck like that and make the world of difference, just a small thing here or there. And I think once he starts really getting into the game, watching the film, really critiquing himself, right now we're seeing kind of just raw talent happen.
Just the young puppy just let loose. I feel like I've had those natural jitters going out there just running until you finally learn the scheme, you learn how to play, learn how to run, understand, hey, first down, second down, or first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. So I figure when we went through, you might not have a good first quarter, but you're going to have a good quarter eventually. So it's really just being patient and going through the game plan.
Yeah. So okay. So something we definitely have seen is we're very in shape if you're playing us, because the defenses are getting worn down a bit. But explain zone scheme to us laymen out there, and what's the benefits of it?
It's not a traditional. I guess you're still reading a hole, but you have parallel movement to the line of scrimmage, so you're kind of basically the best layman way I guess I could explain it is the defense literally, if blocked correctly, can never be right. So you have multiple reads with inside the run, and based off of those reads, that's what you're making your cuts off of. You have your bounce, bang, and bend reads, and man, it feels like listening. I can almost hear Coach McGee in the background right now, just explaining it to me, because previously going to West Virginia, I never ran any zone run schemes, so it was such a cool thing to learn, and we were very good at it back in the day. But yeah, I would say that would be the biggest key, right, Steve? I mean, if you want to kind of add in there.
So for zone is you're really running to an area to where you have linemen are not the traditional Big Ten linemen, and you're not playing smash mouth power eye to where, hey, you're running backside A, front side A, 2-hole, 1-hole, 3-hole. So zone is, hey, you run into an area, and sometimes the defense is trying to over pursue or under pursue. So if they over pursue, you have a cutback lane. They under pursue, you still go, you find the other lane. So it's just one of those things to where I think, especially for us, what we showed is that getting in the deep waters, the third and fourth quarter, is your defensive line able to keep up. Because, you got these younger, more athletic, agile linemen to where you're running every play, to where it's not just brute force, to where you got to make a read, to where you may think you went on backside, but, hey, the lineman did his job. Certain areas you want them to go. So it's a beautiful thing when you watch it and slow it down to where you see guys reading it, being able to accept their lineman, because it's much of a beautiful choreographed dance with the lineman and the running back, to where you can make a lineman's job more easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to be an intelligent runner too.
Yeah. Well, and another thing that's crazy too about it is now you incorporate a guy like Garrett, obviously Pat back in our day, who, if that backside DN's chasing the play down, now he's able to pull the ball. And I mean, it just brings a whole nother dimension to to one play. So it really is a special scheme.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing chess, pretty much, because you can tell your lineman or defensive lineman, hey, this play, do this. Hey, well, you got the run pass option to where quarterback can pull it and throw it. So it's really, like as Owen said, if you run it right, the defense can always be wrong. It could always be a solution.
So predictions this week for you guys for this game. Start with the guest.
Okay, predictions. Are we going scoring predictions? Is that what we're going?
Score, over, under. It's predictions of players' ability, of performance, whatever you want. Owen, you're the guest. You're the star of the End of the Gun podcast. You can say whatever you want.
I'll put this out there. I mean, hopefully nobody bets on this because I'm not very good when it does come to that. I'll say 31-28 Mountaineers top it. Okay. And I'm going to say we have the best day running the ball that we've had this year so far.
I agree with that. I'm not going to go with score. I think we win by at least 14, but I think that we're going to come running the ball. I think that we're going to pound that ball. We're going to pound that ball. I think CJ, he's been fine in the end zone. He had 2. I think Jaheim, I think he only has 3 in the season, but I think he gets him another 2. And Garrett, throws 1, runs 1. But we definitely running the ball.
3 interceptions. We win by 6. I'll make it that. Let me tell you something, by the way. Mike Asti, he one of the WVU writers. At the beginning of the season, he went around and asked a bunch of Mountaineers and podcasters predictions. There were only 2 people who picked this team to be 9-3, and I think we were the only 2 that picked them to be even at 8-4. That was us. So I would trust this man, Steve Slaton, if he says we're going to win by 2 touchdowns. Go to Vegas on it.
Okay. I'll go to Vegas on it.
If they feed them the ball, yeah. I'm just saying that ground game, man. If we feed it like it's supposed to be fed, it's going to be a long day. But we, like I said, defensive needs to step up. So I'm putting the pressure on them, putting the pressure on defense. 3 interceptions, I need it.
Owen, before we get to the very important game, what's been going on, man? Besides the podcast, what are you cooking up these days?
Man, I've been coaching high school football, Greenbrier West High School down here in Greenbrier County.
And how are they doing?
We just went undefeated, and we started the first round of the playoffs this week. I know buddy, and it's been so much fun. We got some of the most fun kids. They're tough as nails. We're undersized team, but we have a lot of athletic skill guys. So we've been able to, we've done something that's crazy in Greenbrier West history. They broke past records. I mean, this team has historically been just a ground and pound. You know what I mean? 3 yards in a cloud of dust. So it's been very enjoyable watching these kids grow over the last 3 years, and they have a real shot. I think the biggest thing that I've tried to help out with is just, I hate to be that guy, but, you have one more month of football if it all works out, and then the rest of your life, most of these kids aren't going to go out and play after this. So just trying to keep them focused on the task at hand where, look, this is going to probably be the last run you guys are going to have of playing ever again. So just kind of like not trying to be, the Debbie Downer, but just want to know the reality of it. And like, listen, have as much fun, celebrate everything you're doing, invest this last month of your life into this game, because I guarantee, you'll get it back, the memories, and the stories and all of it. So that's the biggest thing, and that's what I've been doing. I've been doing some barbecue on the side too. I still love my Q. I love barbecue and I love smoking. It's a lot of fun, and I've been raising my little monster Waylon, and I just jumped off real quick. We were building some Legos. After I'm done, I'm about to hit back up with him.
I love smoking too, very much so. It's very easy to do in California, but I think we're talking about two different things. I got to ask you a question, Owen. No, I'm not going to ask you about that. No, how often do the opposing players, coaches, parents come over and ask you for a picture and autographs? And do you think that drives the other team nuts a little bit?
It happens all the time. Obviously, I'm still here in West Virginia, so it comes with the territory. I'm a little bit protected because I am on the field, so it's not a huge mad rush. But and it's all good. I mean, it's always bringing up good stories, anyways, good old memories that I love to reminisce about and just chat about anyway. So it's always a good time.
I got a question for both of you. What is the weirdest thing a Mountaineer fan has asked you about? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but there has to be some person at some point that said or asked you something that really made you take a step back and go, huh. Take all the time you want. We can edit.
Yeah, I'd say the signing of a baby always was weird for me. Just putting a signature on a child, it was just, I always thought that was so weird. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I'd have to think. I can't even. I feel it's been such a long time, but no, it's been some random ones. I actually a fan showed up at my apartment after one of the games. They were in my parking lot and came up and asked me for an autograph at my apartment. I was probably like, hey man, like it's not a good look. But
you're getting a little weird, man.
Ones. I can't. Yeah. I had to think about it, but yeah.
You got to think about, like, did this guy? Now he knows where I live, man.
How often?
Yeah.
And who else is he going to send over here? Yeah. I'll say one of the nicest things was at the Sugar Bowl. I think somebody paid for me and my family's meal when we went out to eat. I thought that was very nice because you could say hi or whatever, take a picture, but paying for a meal, that's a pretty big thing.
Oh, absolutely. That's awesome.
I've seen radio. I had a lot of fun with a lot of listeners. I married one, and I did have someone threaten to kill me. And I had a woman who would leave like beer on my car every night, which was nice. But she's the one that ended up threatening to kill me. And I was in West Virginia, WNUS in Parkersburg. Country music fans, man. You're the best. We also had a woman who called and had the same conversation with me every night. She'd ask me to play Alabama. I'd say yes. She'd say, you're a sweetheart of a guy. Every night, same conversation. Turned out she'd fallen down an elevator shaft.
Oh, shit.
Love the fans.
Oh, wow.
Love the fans. Yeah. Country music fans are by far everything I've done in radio, the best fans and some of the strangest ones. All right.
From Jam Street Media.